You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You showed me how to spread my wings.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday and another day and another time for Plan to Prosper show. I'm telling you, I get so excited on Tuesday because I know the audience is going to receive some fantastic information that's going to change their business, period. Their company is going to grow and thrive. We are in 200 countries. We are on 5 different platforms. Can you believe that? 5 different ones. You're able to just, if you're traveling, you're able to reach us. If you on vacation, you're like, I still want to do a rewind. You're able to go back and get it. We are here working with small businesses, entrepreneurs, 9 to 5, our hobbyists, startups, faith-based, our community leaders just trying to get more resource in the community. And all of this is in 200 countries. And we are so proud of PAR TV for being one of our investors that invest in us. Our company, Mark is just great as a producer of they help us produce the show, the engineer that's here every Tuesday making it happen. And then I just think about all of the people that we bring to the show, how each one every Tuesday makes a difference, and that we have something for someone somewhere. And I think that's so very important. Today, our guest is going to be Maxine Phillips. And so what I'm going to talk about Maxine is she has something for you to help you professional and personal. And I want you to grab a pen and then a piece of paper. And then for your IT people, your tech geeks, your computer, your iPod, your iPen, whatever you need, because she's going to take you on a journey. And at the end, if you implement and reach out to her, your whole company is going to make a 360 degrees turnaround. I have worked with Maxine. I've seen this happen from one company after another one as she worked with the owners to grow and to thrive. It is my pleasure to have Maxine Phillips on our show today. The Levelist Mindset, the Levelist Person. Maxine, please join the stage.
Woo-hoo! Hello,
Maxine.
hello.
Thank you. You know, I was just telling the audience to grab their pen and paper because they don't want to miss any of this, but they can always go back and capture it. But I want them to make sure they get your contact information. If you want to reach your goals, if you want to maximize and increase your wealth, this assessment that Maxine going to talk about in depth is your key. It's not about 7 figures and not about 6 figures. It's about whatever figure you decide to make. It's about scheduling that appointment with her so she can help you. When I say that, that is sincerely because she has helped me in my company, and I have watched her help other businesses grow and thrive. She has over 30 years of HR. Yes, HR, y'all. Get it. So we know what HR do for you. It is I tell people HR is the foundation of any company. I mean, you got someone to work with you and they come out of HR, you got a jewel. So Maxine, tell the audience about yourself, your company, and then just go talk about what you have ready for them.
Sharon, thank you so much for this opportunity. Listen, you have another powerhouse sitting in front of you right here. Plan to prosper. She definitely helped her business clients prosper. And anyone she comes in contact with, if you listen to her, oh, you're going to prosper. There's no doubt about it. Well, I am so excited to be here. And yes, I am the level-less woman. And the reason why I say that is because level-less is all about success without levels. Hear me out. Success without levels. That means that you can continuously succeed on your own terms. You don't necessarily have to aspire to a certain level because
Mm-hmm.
guess what? When you discover who you are and you know your innate abilities or your everyday natural abilities, and you can define what success looks like for you. That's right, what it looks like for you, not someone else. And then you design a strategy so that you can become successful. And not only that, you're going to have to also develop yourself. So don't ever stop learning. Always be a continuous learner and then deliver and execute with excellence. Now, listen, when you do that, we help professionals in transition. We help students. I'm talking about high school students and college students. We're talking about helping them to identify those innate abilities that match. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
match the career path and the profession that they are to actually be doing based on what they're already born to do. So that's a little bit about me for right now, Sharon, as we dive a little bit deeper into this assessment.
I'm glad you talked about students. Think about it. When we were in after school, so many of us said we were just trying to get away from home, from the farm, from where we were living at. And school was just it. And we're like, when we get there, we'll
Yes.
figure it out. And then you got there and you're like, okay, I'm here, but what am I majoring in? What am I good at? Who
Yes.
am I? You know, the whole thing of making that transition, then you there, and now you're like, I got to make some decisions. Where do I start? And just think, if we would have had
Yes.
this assessment, this available at the age of high school, and then transitioned into college, and then move it one step to out of college, and you graduate to get your master's, your PhD, just the maybe our life would be a little bit different, as it may have not taken us long to get there. We would have found out who are we, what are we made up of, what are we like, what path do we take. So so I want you to take us through when you work with college students, no, high school students, then how you transition them into college,
Yes.
transition them from getting that undergraduate to that master's, that PhD, to moving them through in I'm in my professional, but I just can't see like move up in the corporation. I just feel it's stuck. And if you could take us just slowly walk us through, because we're gonna be taking notes. And if we need to pause, just let us know, because it's important, audience, that you get this. But at the same time, before you do that, Maxine, let the audience know how to contact you, because I want that to be the first thing on their paper. How to reach you.
All right. The best way to reach me is levellessco.com or Maxine at levelless, that's levellessco.com. That's the best way to reach me.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
And y'all
listen,
see it
if
on the
I
screen.
take you through, Is it on the screen? That's right. Levellessco.com, and just put
Okay.
Maxine at levellessco.com. And then
Okay.
you have the email address in order to reach me. Yeah. So Sharon, I sit back and I think about the question that you just asked, which is a phenomenal question. How do you take someone from high school all the way through the PhD? Actually, we take them all the way through retirement. That's the
Oh
beautiful thing
wow.
about this.
Yeah.
Yes, all the way through retirement. And so what
Okay.
we do is we look at their everyday natural abilities, and it is the assessment that you've been talking about. It's called the
Mhm.
Highlands Ability Assessment. This
Okay.
assessment was designed by Johnson O'Connor, and he designed it so he could measure your everyday natural abilities so that he would match you up with the roles and responsibilities that closely match what you were naturally doing every day. And now we have developed it into an actual online assessment. So you take it right in the comforts of your home. But this is a
Okay.
beautiful thing about this assessment. It is an ability assessment, not a personality, not a career, but an ability. What abilities were you born with that no one had to teach them to you? This is what
Mhm.
you do every day in your sleep without even thinking about it. But
Mhm.
majority of the time, people have not yet discovered those everyday abilities that they have. And if they've discovered them, they might not understand how to actually put them towards a career path and a profession. So, with
Okay.
this online assessment that you take, we get two reports. The first report is a report that helps us to understand who you are from your core. Now, when I say from your core, I'm talking about your DNA. I'm not just talking about we guessing at what it is that you do. Oh no.
Mhm.
And this assessment is not a question and answer. Majority of the time you're used to, are you more like this, less like this? Identify the
Mhm.
adjectives that describes you.
Mhm.
Oh no, 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 no,
Mhm.
no, no, no. This
Okay.
assessment is interactive. You use your hand, your mind, your imagination, numbers. And
Mhm.
once we see that report, not only
Mhm.
does it tell us who you are, but it also helps you to understand, how do you make decisions? How do you problem solve? Are you a
Right.
big picture thinker? Are you detailed? Are strategic? Are you
Mhm.
numerical? So it helps break down all these different
Mhm.
possibilities that you have. And I tell everybody the sky is not the limit. So don't limit yourself. This assessment helps you not to limit yourself. Instead, it wants you to explore. So one of the things that it does, Sharon, it
Right.
talks about your specialized. It talks about your we call them your personal was attributes. And these attributes are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Okay.
Now let's get this understood. Majority of the time, people think introverts are those who want to go and sit in a corner,
Right.
right, and not be bothered. Well, introvert extrovert is all about how do you regain your energy.
Okay.
Introverts, they need to be by themselves for a while in order to re-energize. And
Mhm.
an extrovert, they're talkers. They think
Mhm.
out loud. They make
Mhm.
decisions out loud. They like to talk it through. For an introvert or you behind the scene person, they're
Mhm.
thinking, they just don't express it. But then,
Mhm.
Sharon, there's something that's called ambivert that a lot of people don't even talk about.
Oh
And that's
wow.
because people flex. They have a little bit of both in them. They have
Okay.
the introvert and the extrovert. But what
Mhm.
we have to worry about as worker bees and as those who are in the workplace and business owners and students,
Mhm.
you must understand, how do you re-energize? Because if you are forced in an extrovert world, but you're an introvert, oh my
Right.
gracious, you are totally drained.
Yeah.
And if you're in school all day long and you're trying to study, but you've been with people, but you needed that quiet time, when you leave
Yes.
school, you're gonna crash. You're gonna crash. You're gonna go to sleep. You're gonna get your book. You want by yourself. You have to re-energize in order to keep moving. Well, our
Okay.
extroverts, on the other hand, they are talkers. So it's not going to bother them. They could be up all night and they can feel like what they call, what is the ever ready bunny. They can keep going and
Yeah.
going and going.
Uh-huh.
And so
Mhm.
the amplifiers do a little bit of both. So we have to be
Okay.
conscious of what are we so that we're in the right profession
Okay.
according to our personality as well.
Okay.
Then we have what is called our driving abilities. Now,
Mhm.
these driving abilities are the abilities that you must pay close attention to because those are the ones going to drive you toward that career path. career path and towards that profession. And this is where are you, when we talk about a big picture thinker, are you a strategic? Are you chronological? Are you, we call them, are you a brainstormer? You
Okay.
can't turn your brain off. You're constantly coming up with new ideas.
Right.
So when a manager bring you to the table, or when you bring an employee to the table,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we call a person who's a brainstormer. Then you
Mm-hmm.
want that person at the table so they can come up with all these new ideas. But don't forget about that introvert who's sitting there and not saying anything.
Right.
They have ideas, they're just not bringing them forth. So you have to understand how to go about helping them. Well, always have a round robin where they write it on the piece of paper. They can, submit it to you without having to actually say it out loud. So that's a way of
Okay.
making sure that you get their contribution. Those
Okay.
who come up with those one or two ideas, Sharon, those
Mm-hmm.
are your money makers. Pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to them. Now,
Okay.
those who constantly flowing ideas, those are your brainstormers. Those are the problem
Okay.
solvers. Those are that come up with different ways of strategically or opportunities or different ways to solve the same problem. So
Mm-hmm.
you need all of these on your team, but as a manager, you need to understand every one of your team players.
Right.
And you need to understand, are they introvert, extrovert? How do they
Right.
make decisions and how they contribute to the team? And then we have our specialized abilities. Now, these specialized
Okay.
abilities are the ones that help us to hone in on the profession. That's where you're
Okay.
going to be an accountant. Are you going to be in the medical field? Are you going to be in the legal field? Are you going to be doing a trade? What type
Okay.
of profession are you going to be in? Now, some people say they want to be an engineer, right? But there's 5, 6, 7 different types of engineers. So you have to narrow down which engineer you're speaking about so that,
Right.
again, your personality, the way that you think, the way that you solve problems, your everyday abilities. When we talk about the right environment, Sharon, we're talking about the
Mm-hmm.
roles and the responsibilities. Because many times people go after a job title, but they don't pay attention to the roles and the responsibilities. But it's the roles and the responsibilities that you need to be closely matched to so that you know that you're doing what you were really born to do, these everyday abilities that you have. And so that's something that entrepreneurs
Mm-hmm.
do. That's something that we can do as an individual. And that's definitely something that leaders need to pay attention to.
Maxine, I just got one before you go to the next. I got something to go back to when you talk about knowing the difference between having on your team that know how to do the extrovert introvert on your team. Too often we don't build teams because we're not for sure how to bring different people with those different attributes to it. And I
The
just think that that,
attitudes.
that, that really doesn't help you reach your levelless goal set whenever you don't step outside of the box and say, you know what, I have to have a diverse group of thinkers in order for me to grow
Yes,
and thrive. So
yes. I
that was
love the
my
fact that you use diverse. Yeah, I love the fact that you use the word diverse because majority of the time, we know with diversity and inclusion, we do want to include everyone and we want
mm-hmm,
different nationalities, but also diversity is about the skill set that the person brings to the table. And in your
mm-hmm,
team, you want different types of team members to have different types of skills, not only the technical skills, but their social skills as well, and then their everyday abilities. I always tell everyone, you hire me for a certain right role and responsibility, but guess who shows up? The whole person. So there's things about me that you're not going to know about when you first hire me until I have an opportunity to present them or a need to show them. So as
right,
a leader, it's important that you understand every team member on your team. How do they make decisions? How do they problem solve? Are they an introvert, extrovert? How do they like to be rewarded? But
mm-hmm,
sometimes managers don't even think about that because some people don't want a public recognition. They prefer a private recognition. So it's
mm-hmm,
important that you even understand that about the person. So yeah, so team development is where I come in at and help leaders understand. And with this assessment, we do this assessment on every single one of your employees, and then we give you a group feedback. And therefore, you can understand you have an opportunity to understand every single team player and what they're bringing to the table, what values that they're offering you, and the things that you don't even know about them. You have an opportunity to understand them. And then you have a chance to say, are they really in the right role and the responsibility? So we don't use it for employment. We don't use it to hire someone. It's
Thank
after
you.
they're in your company, then it's great for you to be able to match those skill sets that this person have. We know you brought them in for a particular position, but what if they have another skills that you're not even aware, and you can place them in another responsibility that even adds to the value of your team and meeting all of your goals.
I'm glad you said that because I thought about, when it's time to have your review at work and you're like, wow, if I could have scored higher or look at different. Do you not help people position themselves so when it's time to move up, their performance review? Talk to us about how you help people that's in corporation or in corporate America move up into the C-suite around performance.
Well, it's important that you create objectives for yourself, goals for yourself at the beginning of the year, and match that up to what the department goals are, to your manager's goals, to ensure that you're in alignment with it first and foremost. And then, secondly, make sure that you put a developmental goal in there for yourself, because you can create goals and say, I want to achieve this and I want to achieve that, right? But what if there is a skills gap? What if there's a challenge that you're having, but you have not put a development plan into the goals that you set in order for you to meet and exceed those goals? So,
Mhm.
first of all, you set that goal for yourself. Secondly, you make sure that you put a strategy in place in order for you to be able to meet those goals. So, as a career coach, as a performance management consultant, I would be there right along looking at those goals that you've created, asking you, what are the goals of the organization? What are the goals of your
Mhm.
manager? And how does your
Mhm.
goal that you set for yourself align with the department and then with the corporate goals? Because then you can decide, how are you going to shine? How are you going to position yourself? Who do you need to get to know? Make every connection count. So don't go into an organization and don't start building relationships. It's very critical that you start building those relationships, and people need to get to know you. So don't tell me that, oh, I can't be on this committee, or they didn't ask me to be on this committee. No, volunteer. Raise your hand and say, hey, I would love to be able to serve on this. I'd love to be able to do this. Help with the community social responsibilities. Go into the community on behalf of the organization and show up and do things that represent, because after all, you're an ambassador of that organization. So take it upon yourself to truly be the ambassador. Don't wait for the manager to come to say, Sharon, would you be on such and such committee? No, you take it to them and say, hey, I've looked at the committees. I would love to be on this particular one and this particular one, and volunteer your time. That's how people get to know you. And also, they get to know what type of character you are, the quality of work that you do, the quantity of work that you do, the friendliness and your approachability. They get a chance to understand all of that about you. So don't be
Mhm.
afraid to step up and ask.
What the other thing is, you did such a great job explaining this.
I
I'm
think
just
there's
like,
a pause, a delay.
do you hear me? Can you hear me
Yeah, I
now?
can hear you.
Okay, I'm thinking
Yeah.
about, okay, I'm in college and I think about so many college students and we're getting ready to graduate. Graduation is next month. Not only is that, it's Mother's Day also. So it's that time. So, but how I see all these jobs coming up.
Yes.
How do I figure out, can this assessment help me figure out what type of job I need to apply for, what I'm going to be good at, and then help me negotiate the salary I want for that type so I won't take something just to take something?
I don't want you to take anything just to take anything. So what I do want you to, of course, jobs, but what I do want you to take is that ability assessment. And by
Okay.
taking that ability assessment, it's going to give you the ammunition that you need. I always call it's going to help you have your value proposition, how to leverage your strengths, what roles and responsibilities to look for with all these jobs that's being posted. And not only that, Sharon, not only the jobs, but the company, the corporation. It's important that you understand what that corporation culture is like. You have
Oh,
people on LinkedIn you can go to and ask questions. questions. You can read about on their website what are things that they're doing. Are they in the
Mhm.
community? Are they engaged? Your values and their values. I never will forget, Sharon. I was going to apply for this one job. Absolutely loved it. Went to the company's website and looked at their values, but their values did not align with my values. So I would not apply for that job because you know what? I knew I was not going to be happy there because I already knew there was a disconnect walking through the door. Even if they paid me the salary that I wanted, it was still going to be a disconnect.
Mhm.
And
You know
people
what?
don't stay at companies like that anymore.
You know what? Meta was paying these recruiters $200,000 a year, but they didn't have enough people to for the jobs that they was offered. So you had all of these high end recruiters out there, and they was just paying them all this money. These young ladies say, I was a manager over these recruiters," and she said, "But there weren't enough people applying for what we have." So we end up just trying to figure out how to change stuff to get more people. And it was like, I'm in a job, I'm not happy. I thought I was because they had the amount of money they went for it. Now you just showing up trying to say, okay, talent. You're looking for the best talent, but nobody applying. So if nobody applying, how are you getting creative to find people? And what she said was that wasn't what you were in there for. She was chasing the money.
Yeah,
I end up leaving.
yeah. And Sharon, with you saying chasing the money, that is so true because money is a short-term satisfier.
Yes.
You're happy once you get the increase. You're happy when you walk in the door and you know what the salary range is, right? And they're paying you, but you don't know if they're paying you on the low end, the middle, or the high end. And listen, it happened to me. All these things have happened to me, so that's why I can talk about them firsthand. And it's happened to some of my clients, so that's why we talk about it, right? And we negotiate salary is about the total compensation package and not just salary. Okay,
Right.
so I want you to make sure that you write that down. That's it's very important that you look at the total compensation package that the company is offering. But with money being a short-term satisfier, what's going to be the differentiator is the fact that the values of their company and your values match. The roles and responsibilities that you have set for yourself match with the roles and responsibilities that you're going in there to do. Now, what happens is individuals get into corporations and they start hearing about what somebody else's salary is, and then they lose that fizzle,
Okay.
because they felt like employee B is making more than me. I walked in here with 20 years of service. Employee B only has 10 years of service and they making more money than me. Well, you should not even think of that, look at it that way, because what I want you to do is I want you to look at what are your achievements? What are you going to show the company that you're capable of doing? Because
Okay.
levelless is about success without levels. So we don't teach you to go in there and try to climb level. What we
Mhm.
help you to understand is be successful. Define what success looks like for you. And
Uh-huh.
you know what roles that you want to have while you're in that organization. You know what it is that you want to learn, because if you choose not to stay in that organization, you can transfer those skills to another industry. So there's different ways to
Right.
be successful. It's just that we have to have the level as mindset to know your
Mhm.
worth and know how to advocate for yourself so that you are successful continuously. So that's why I tell people, let's look at what's your definition of success. Let's take the
Right.
assessment so we can understand your baseline of what you offer. Are there any blind spots that you are not
Okay.
aware of that we need to
Right.
bring to your attention? And therefore you can what? Make sure that that gap is no longer there. And you walk into
Right.
that organization confident.
Right.
Because majority of the time, Sharon, people are waiting on companies to tell them that they're a top talent. Are we not waiting on business or our manager to say, "Oh, Maxine, you've been deemed as one of our top talent employees. We're so happy to put you in the queue of a leadership role." Well, see, my mindset when you hired me, you hire top talent.
Talent.
So you have to know within yourself that you are, and you know your worth. So you are top talent. Don't wait on anybody else to tell you you're top talent. You are already born a masterpiece. And that's what you have to
Wow.
continue to show, be, and do.
Now, what I'm hearing from you is after I take this assessment, and then you're going to come and work with me and give me the analysis of it. And now I'm able to say, okay, now since I have this, now I'm on with choosing the right career path that I need to be into. Whether I'm entrepreneur, owning my own business, it helps me decide I need to be doing this and not. I should be doing. Have my company that's electric engineer and not been doing another type of engineer that I'm not great at all. And so that's what I'm
right.
hearing you saying. And then then I hear one step said, now you can help me craft my resume or synopsis around this in order to present it. So you help me not only do the assessment, but one step farther, you work with us to craft what we need know. And then am I also hearing that you help us interview for the position before we
Yes,
have the interview? So I thought I wasn't for sure, but I'm like, wait a minute, we're doing an assessment, then you're gonna craft this. So am I hearing that it's like I'm at one place and I'm gonna get it all? I ain't got to go take it here and go take it here to get it. So I love that process. Is that correct?
that is so true. You are at a one-stop shop,
Okay.
but not a one size fits all. Because we
Okay.
customize, we personalize, and we tailorize what it is that you need. Because we look at what I call the job search assignment, and
Okay.
interviewing is what we take you
Okay.
through. And that
Okay.
job search, it includes not only the assessment, but once the assessment, we help you, yes, craft that robust resume. And after
Okay.
you do that resume, while we're helping you with the resume, because we do the resume together. It's not we do the resume for you. Because
Right.
when you finish with that resume, you're ready to interview. The minute you push go on that resume and push it out there into the world, if someone calls you the next hour, you are ready to interview because you know everything that's on that resume. And we've already gone through preliminary interviews. And then we do
Wow.
mock interviews as well. So as you're going through we call it the recruitment process, and you go from one interview to the next interview to the next interview, then we'll have a mock interview to make sure that you're prepared and then you're ready. Now we place directors. I placed one young lady coming out of college with her undergrad degree. There were 400 applicants for the position. Hello, who you think got the job?
Wow.
My Yes, my client got the job out of 400. I'm talking about with the CDC.
Oh wow.
Yes,
Wow.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
So you're
Wow.
prepared, you're ready, but you just have to, are you willing? Are you ready? And do you want the help? Are you ready? And are you willing to do what it's going to take? Because we cannot guarantee you employment. But what we do guarantee that if you follow the steps that we're asking you to do, you're going to be very high up on that list of candidates. There's too many variables for us to say you're going to get the job because we
That's
don't
right.
have any control over it.
But you're not saying you're gonna get a job. What you said is you're gonna be prepared versus then you being not prepared by doing it on your own and think you know. Because so many
Yeah.
times it's like we're like, okay, let's Google it. A lot of people think Google answers the world. Googling, let me tell you, there's nothing like the human person
Touch.
working with you. Touch. Great. The homie, everybody say, that is Googling, thank you. But if you don't have someone and you have over 30 years of HR, I want an HR person to help me role play. One, role play so many people already over 30 years, and then you can really say, when they ask you this question, this is what they mean. This is how to answer this. You like when you in an
Yeah.
interview, they ask you, do you have any questions? And people be like, no, I don't. Yes, you do. Have your list. I have this list of questions. Have you been at the people that say, I don't have any questions? I'm looking at them. You should have some for me.
And there's always the one question that you should have. And so you have it in your back pocket so that once, they say, do you have any questions for me? Then you ask that question. And then once you ask that question and they answer you, then you have a follow through. And that follow through is where you make sure that you're asking for the job. See, a lot of people don't ask for the job. They don't
Maxine,
ask for the job. No, they don't ask for the job.
Maxine, you mean to tell me, and which I believe that. Why are you there if you're not going to ask for the job? Do people think it's just not
Because
good
they don't know
etiquette?
how. No, but many times they don't know how to ask for the job. See,
Okay.
there's an art to asking for the job, but you have to pay attention to what the person that's interviewing you, what are they saying to you? And remember, you are to be interviewing that person at the same time. Don't go in there just to be interviewed, but you need to be interviewing the person that's interviewing you so you can make sure it's a good fit for you in that corporation or in that company or in that with that manager in that department. All these things are very important. And when you determine that this is what you want, then that's where you need to sweeten it up and start asking for the job. Well, I understand you to say so and so, so and so. I could really see myself working here doing those particular roles. What did you just
Or
do?
saying that I have done that in other places and this is the outcome. And so I'm thinking for
I
not
can see.
only corporate America, but for entrepreneurs and business owners, whenever they are going after a contract and they have to
Yes.
interview for that contract, they have all these other people that's out there too trying to get this contract. And you can say, yes, but our company has done X, Y, and Z in this field already and we would be a perfect fit.
Yeah. I
So
love it,
really,
Sharon.
that makes it. I love that you said you don't ask for it because you're saying
Yeah.
replay what they say by asking, letting them know I'm already qualified for that. You don't need to interview anybody else.
And that's level less because you know your worth and you
Oh wow!
advocate for yourself, and that's how you continue to succeed.
Oh wow! Now I know that I've heard you speak, and you said something about you know your worth. You get. There's a little thing at the end you be telling people you get the income that you desire.
When you go through our program, our level is
Okay.
mindset program, and then it's all a part of that job. Remember, I said that assignment search and interviewing program
Uh
is
huh.
all of is
Hmm.
all is all a part of that. And what
Hmm.
happens that when you know your worth, you can advocate for yourself, you continue to succeed. At the end, it comes to you end up reaching the career you want, you
Okay.
receive the salary that you desire, and you're going to live the lifestyle that you deserve because you're
Repeat those
level-less.
three again. Wait a minute. Repeat those three again. I got to write this down. Say it again. I'm going to get what at
I
the
want
end.
you to understand that once you go through this process and you're doing the things that we need you to do, you are going
Okay.
to reach the career that you want. You're
Okay.
going to receive the income that you desire because everybody have a salary range that they're looking for.
Oh
And
yes.
then you're
Hmm.
going to live the lifestyle that you deserve because it's not
Woo.
all the money, but money does play a very important role. But there are
Hmm.
other things that come along with it that we help you to understand what you need to be asking for.
You know what I like is what you talk about lifestyle. You know, we start out saying we want this career, but then you move into you're like what I need a different type of lifestyle. When you first get out of school and college and stuff, you're looking for this, but then as you settle in, your value changes. And what I'm hearing is your assessment. I could take your assessment coming out of college, and but then as I grow and be in my career, my value has changed from there to to something different, and then you can help elevate that. Now you can help me figure out the lifestyle that I want and how to help me get that.
And, and actually, Sharon, when they go through our program, all of that is built in while they're going to college.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not after they graduate. So that's a beautiful thing about the Levelers program is that we take them through the college, we take them through a trade, we take them through entrepreneurship. We have individuals that we can hand over to entrepreneurship. hand them off to, someone such as yourself who's a business, right. So, business consultant. So I get them to a certain point, and then I can hand them over to someone else who's going to take them even further. And then we work together because there's still certain things that they're going to need back from the career coaching. So let's
Right.
understand that this is a collaboration out here. Because no
Okay.
one person has to do it all. I can
Okay.
take them from high school all the way through retirement, but I have workshops. I do have consulting, I do have the coaching, but I'm not a total business coach. I am
Mhm.
the career and performance management coach. That's my
Okay.
specialty. That's my niche. Do I
Mhm.
know how to get them started in business? Of course I do. Can I take them where they want to go with their business? I have someone else that I can trust them with that can do that. That's where we partner with each other as coach to coach. There's enough people in this world for everybody. So we must learn to work together. So yeah, but that's the beauty of when you start working with a person, you find out what their needs are. It's almost like a
Mhm.
business. Look at the needs assessment for a business, and then you can determine what solutions you want to offer them, what they want to put in place, what they want to implement, at what phase, what time. It's the same thing with life. Life is a journey. Career, it is a lifetime, but life is a project. And a project has a beginning date and an end date. So levelist is your dash. Levelist is the dash. Hello.
I
As
love that. Love that. Guys, Maxine, I want to
yes,
thank you.
that's what I love.
I love that. You know what, audience, you don't know this, but I want Maxine also to take time to talk about her show, which is on Monday before our show is on Tuesday. Now, Maxine is on Monday. Tell the audience, because you have so much information. And I don't want them to stop at this show, but I want them to follow your show, because during that time, they're going to see more and more of why they should do the check box to yes and send you the email. So talk about your show and how they can get engaged with that.
Well, thank you, Sharon, for this opportunity. Well, the life strategies, it's called the Maxine Pearl Phillips Life Strategy Show. And life strategy is about what have you put in place that has enabled you to be successful, enable you to move forward, enable you to overcome hurdles and adversity. And then something that's been great. Who have you worked with? What mentors have you had? So why not share your journey with the world? Plan to Prosper does the same thing by bringing me on and letting me talk about my show and what it is that I offer. Because what we do is we help people become unstuck. We help people to be able to get out of their own way. We help people to understand you're not in this alone. You have other people who have experienced it. Come along and let us, or hey, on the Leveler Show, we have platinum nuggets. We drop platinum nuggets. So bring your pen and paper. Be ready for the platinum nuggets. We have a gentleman that's coming on tomorrow night that's going to be dropping all types of platinum nuggets. So Renee
Oh,
is going to
okay.
be talking about growth strategies. And so it's going to be absolutely awesome, and how to be compassionate about you helping another person. And so that's what the life strategies is all about. How can we help other people move forward so they can become who they're created to be?
Now, what time is your show?
It's at 7
What?
o'clock East,
Okay.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can
Mhm.
find me on Facebook.com at Levelist Co. And that would be where it's live streamed. And like Sharon indicated, it's streamed to Pod TV, Roku, Amazon Live. But start out with Levelist Co. on Facebook.
Well, that is great. I want to thank you so very much for joining. I've learned so much. I know our audience learned a lot, and I know that they are going to follow you, because why wouldn't they? They want to reach and live the lifestyle that you told us we can have, which is so very important, that we fulfill our
Yes.
goal and our mission in life. Excuse me. And I know through you, Maxine, that the audience and the entrepreneurs, business owners, 9 to 5 starters can reach that. And the corporations would benefit. I'm thinking if you at a corporation and you thinking we need to have Maxine come and speak to us as a group because of so many layoffs and stuff, this is the person you want in the room. Whenever you talking about that, you talking about you hearing about layoff, Maxine is the person you want in the room, because she's going to help you transition, whether it's through the company or through another company, where you can continue growing and thriving. And I just want to encourage the audience that. Maxine, do you have any departing thoughts for our audience before we close the session for tonight?
Well, I want to let you know that over 61% of the US workers are ready to leave their job. And they're ready to leave because of the dissatisfaction. So Sharon has indicated to you that I do come out and I speak, and we're talking about how do we remove some of those that dissatisfaction. And the most important thing is that abilities and strengths. That way, when you already know who you are and you can articulate it and you can share, and then when you're looking for jobs, you know whether or not that's a good company match for you. Then it keeps you from being dissatisfied once you go to that organization. You have all this quiet quitting, you have all this quiet hiring, and hiring is internal hiring. So you need to have your resume ready at all times. So don't overlook keeping that resume up to date. It's so important and it's so critical that you do that. So go forth, become levelist, reach out to me, and I would love to hear from you.
Thank you so very much, Maxine. We're anxious to have you to come back to us this year. Mark, thank you so very much for being the producer and the engineer of the show and helping make sure the Plan to Prosper show, is all that it can be in all 200 countries. Have a fantastic evening, and we'll see everyone back here next Tuesday with another guest. Goodbye, everyone. Good night.
Good night, Sharon. Thank you.
Good night, Maxine. I sometimes we have technical problems. Well, Maxine, evidently we have an issue with the thing, but we could continue until that work out. So, any other thoughts you'd like to add to the audience as we work through our technology?
Well, I was going to say just know. Okay, I was going to say, just know that the assessment starts with high school students at the age of 14. And so it's something that they can take and that can help them with selecting their electives for school. You got the upcoming fall. And so, don't parents, let's not overlook that. So let's have the students to take that assessment as early as possible at the age of 14 so we can help them make sure that they're planning their career and choosing the right profession as well.
Well, I thought about something else. Do you have any do you do any group for trainings?
I do. We do group training. We with the students, we have after you take the assessment, we have test taking, we have note taking, we have study skills. So we have a lot of those different workshops, and we even have presentation skills because it's important that students understand how to present while they're even in school because it carries on in their marketplace, into the workplace. So we
Oh,
help them
great.
with that as well.
But parents, reach out to Maxine. Thank you again, Maxine. I'm looking forward to having you back this year. Have a fantastic night, everybody, and we fix our technical problems. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, take care.
Take care. Maxine, for some reason, we cannot get our technical. Every time we think we're ready, uh, well, we could go to continue, Maxine, chatting until the technical issues is there. Is there anything else you think the audience would be?
Okay. Well, thank you, Sharon, again for this opportunity because when it comes to groups, you asked me about groups because even with the professionals, there are group coaching that we do as well. So, team development, and we can also go to the organizations and work with the leaders with their teams, take the assessment, do a group feedback, and then you set up team development. So, depending on the players on your team, how do you want to do? We call it team development, and those are the different stages of teams, whether it's you're forming, you're norming, you're storming, and performing. So we go through that as well. And you have team building, so trust is there. So there's a lot of great things that you can do with your team to make sure that cohesiveness is there. And you want high performing teams. So leaders, that's something to take into consideration. That's why it's important that you know every team member and all their strengths. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Maxine, we're going to have you to come back and do team member building. And just let us know that they fix the technology. And again, have a fantastic afternoon, everybody. As you know, technology is what it is. Good night, everyone.
It is what it is. All right. Take care. Good night.